Well, hello, Microsoft 365 Nation. Harry Brailsford here with one of our periodic chit chats with leading security partners and having a cup of coffee this morning with Denis Wilson out of Southern California. There he is. Yes, sir. Denis is a longtime community member from the other side of the aisle, SMB Nation. But Denis has a couple unique twists that we're going to double click down into that make him uniquely qualified to hop over to Microsoft 365 Nation. So, Denis, good morning. First of all, what brand of coffee are you drinking? What's your pleasure with coffee, and where are you located?
This morning, I'm drinking a Pete's Major Dickinson, and in a actually a pretty cold morning for Los Angeles. I hear there's actually a broad, perhaps a little bit of rain coming our way.
My goodness, that's and you and I were talking that it's really interesting. Yeah, up in Seattle, the default would be to pull over to Starbucks. You said it's different down in Southern California. What's the story?
Well, the story is that nobody who knows anything about coffee goes to a Starbucks. If you're caught there by a friend of yours, you sort of hide your head and run. So if you're really an aficionado, you go to Pete's. Definitely not coffee bean and tea leaf, and definitely not Starbucks.
There we go. All right, let's get into the good stuff. So you're 17 years in role as the CEO of DWP Information Architects. And first, let's talk nuts and bolts, and then I want to talk about some of the blogging you do. So you hold yourself out to be a managed security services company. So talk to me. Why the emphasis on security? That's really cool. That's one of your focuses.
Yeah, actually, it was customers that talked me into it. I had not made the move along with everybody else who was talking about, got to get into security. I'm a big believer in you got to get into whatever your customers want you to get into.
Yeah.
I
Imagine
had
that.
customers. Yeah, I had customers that were construction principally up through 2011, 12, 13. The engineering, environmental engineering, architectural engineering, that kind of thing, and those guys really had a need for security and doing it, encryption and that kind of thing, so that they could pass back and forth prints and data that would be secure. And so we started to get into it, solving one little problem at a time, until pretty soon we were, had the entire thing with the encryption, with the continuum security, which is now called Fortify, the whole thing.
No, that's really cool. And then you also hold out yourself as a blogger. So talk to me. You appear to have a daily cadence. Why do you blog? Is this a passion project or is this business development? So number one, what's your cadence? Number two, what are your topics and why the heck are you doing it?
Well, it's really based upon being a small company and having to having basically a one-person marketing department. We had to choose which of the 2 or 3 or 4 things that we could get our arms around, and one of them, for me at least, was real easy, was the blogging. One of the deals about the blogging and the cadence on it is to do. And I did a fair amount of research with HubSpot and a variety of folks who talked about how often, getting into it with LinkedIn was once a day seems to be the right number.
Yep.
The Facebook, it's twice a day, and Twitter, it's as much as you want. Although I limit it to 3 or 4 times a day. Now, part of, another part of that is the whole point of, how much is created in-house, how much is curated, how much is product oriented, how much is just solution oriented, how much is general industry oriented. And so over the past probably 3 years now that I've been doing this, I've picked up something that the numbers where you 5 of those and 4 of these and 2 of those, and don't do these with LinkedIn. And that was the other thing that came to me late. Was something that Robin Robbins had talked about, is that people want to see, particularly on Facebook, they want to see the human side. And so you've got another thing of talking about the company, talking about the people at the company. Pretty soon it's got to be a whole newspaper, basically. They're having to come out. But yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're behaving. I mean, quite frankly, the traditional SMB Nation is a media integration company. Again, is Dennis, I prefer to call it a community, but if I have to distill it down to the real business model, we're a media integration company and events company, and you're behaving, and my compliments, a lot like we do. It's a lot of work to have the consistency of daily content, whether created or curated. I know when you curate content, you add your own comments up front, in terms of the post, and that's a lot of work. Now, do you feel you've been able to build an audience through this exercise? I would suspect you have, because of that consistency.
Yeah, we have built an audience. That is the number one concern. You're wondering if anybody out there cares, and if they do, what is it they care about? We're starting to see, this has been 3 years. We're now starting to see the clicks getting into the double digits, where we're seeing 25, 35, 50, 80, occasionally 100 clicks. And they if you're putting stuff out there on a regular basis, 100 clicks is pretty good. We don't have tens of thousands that SMB Nation has necessarily. We've got 1,500 to 2,500 that we send this out to. So we're feeling pretty good that we're starting to build a steady flow of being interesting and having acknowledgement of that interest in terms of people who are clicking in and taking a look at what's going on.
No, I love it. Well, first of all, as we kind of wrap up for this month's interview, I appreciate you joining us as a contributing editor at Microsoft 365 Nation, so we can leverage some of the security work you're already doing, some of the MSP work you're already doing. Last question, do you anticipate you'll be at any industry conferences over the next few months where someone might be able to see you, such as DattoCon or Inspire? Is that on your radar screen?
Unfortunately, things have slowed down on that side. We have recently taken on the responsibility for an elder parent.
Okay,
and
understood.
Somebody has to be here at all times.
Yeah.
And I have a bit more flexibility than my wife does in terms of that. So I'm getting down to tech down in Anaheim.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Tech Fest and
Tech Fest.
Yeah.
I get down there once a quarter, and I get down to ASCII when they're in in Anaheim. But other than those Channel Pro when they were down in Long Beach. But they pretty much have to be local, so I can get back and take care of Dad.
No, fair enough. I get it. And well, I'll tell you what. Next month we're gonna double click down into the bits and bytes of kind of what you're seeing, what you're hearing. So, Dennis, enjoy that cup of coffee. Thank you for your time, and have a great day. Microsoft 365 Nation, thanks for your support.
Thank you very much, Harry.